Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Aligning with Success call. Today is June 12, 2017. It seems like the year is just whizzing by. We're sort of mid-year already. And, I think just really starting to get our jets going here with respect to these incentive programs. I wanted to, normally what happens is I dump and then we run out of time for Q&A. And I thought last week's conversation with Bernadette McBurney, the notes that she took, the conversation she opened up with you, was one that's worth exploring a little bit deeper, a little bit further, because it does it does help establish a role in your own mind, in your own way of processing the information as to how you might go about attracting people differently than maybe how you've approached it until now. And it's more consistent with kind of how I see it. I guess that's why it came from one of those brainstorming ideas. Carol, I'm going to mute you. You've got a bit of background noise going here. But please feel to unmute yourself if you have some questions or comments. So what I'd like to do is ask if you would, if for those of you who don't recall last week's conversation with Bernadette, we talked about the idea of, let's say, Kurt Foley picked up the phone and you received a phone call from him, and he asked you he said it's not mandatory. It's just a simple request, but I'm looking for someone who can do this for me because I'm short on staff, whatever. But here's the deal. The deal is find me 3 aces in the deck. Find me 3 aces in the deck by the end of this year. And they're demonstrably aces because they are doing the things that an ace would do. And at the end of the year, I'll write you a check for $100,000. So you were now employed to do that. What was really interesting for me to note was the shift in the way people all of a sudden saw their role and how they immediately changed the way they communicated or would have communicated to a prospect or would communicate with a prospect going forward if that's what they were charged with. The idea that they're being held up in esteem by the CEO of our company to go out and find some people. He's entrusted that to you, but he's also put a pretty good price tag on it. If you succeed, here's what you get in reward. And what was interesting was that I saw the shift. I saw it in the eyes of the people I was speaking with, and I saw then the way they changed their script as to how they might approach somebody. And it occurred to me, it's startling that we still, in spite of the fact that we're our own business and our own CEO, our own boss, we tend to approach this business as an employee. Yes. And don't really look at it as the CEO that we are and the responsibility that we have to, in fact, do just that, to put NECAN on the map. And I think it's really important to underscore a few points, especially in lieu of my meeting with Mr. Foley at dinner last Monday. One of the best days I've ever had with him. I mean, we had some really candid conversation. We started in his office when I got into town, which is around 11, and we ended up at like 10:30 p.m. when he dropped me off at my hotel. So it was a lunch in between, a dinner in between, and a lot of conversation in between. We talked about so many different things. But one of the things that I said to him was that I understand his role as the CEO is not the kind of role that I play. He's not in the limelight. He's not very comfortable being out in front of an audience and speaking in that way. That's just not who he is. And I said, I realized that, and I wanted to do my part to help the field get to know him better through my eyes and to understand where he's at and how he approaches things from the time that I had with him. And one of the things I think I mentioned on the on the call on Friday, the launch partners call, was how I informed him. I said, look, I don't think I could be doing what I'm doing right now, which is quite a bit of traveling, putting myself on the front lines and leading a charge, if it wasn't for the relationship that he and I had been forging all this time, and getting closer in our understanding of who does what and how we can work together to collaborate, me in the field, him in the office. I said, if I didn't have the confidence in this relationship, I couldn't do this. I could not stand in front of an audience of people and do what I do. And he was actually kind of surprised and pleased at the same time, because he really wanted to make this point that the growth of the company, the viability of the company, is not actually in his hands. To some degree, of course, he has to manage the affairs of the company and make sure that the company is profitable. In fact, he's mandated to do that. But he doesn't generate sales. He doesn't generate growth. He can make tweaks and things to, like, our compensation plan, incentives, but that doesn't necessarily create outcome. It's when we decide to do something about it, when we take up the mantle ourselves, when we assume our role and our responsibility as a major contributor. And I want you guys to really understand that. You guys are on these calls. I see your faces and your names. I don't see that many others. You guys are in the game. And those that are not participating in calls like this one and others that are happening on a weekly basis, I can't say they're in the game. And one of the other things I wanted to point out was the CEO of this company knows who's in the game. He keeps track of this stuff. So, because he wants to know who are his partners, which is what he refers to us as. So I just wanted to sort of share that little bit of insight with you, in that he understands very clearly that if we don't do what we need to do, if we're not motivated to do it, if we're not inspired to do it, to lead a charge, and to not just accumulate customers, because that is fine, that's good, but the growth of our business is really sustained by attracting business partners, which is why he's become so focused on the incentives. Which I told him, by the way, I was happy to be able to say to him, in the 25 years I've been with Nikan, this is the best incentive plan I've ever seen. It's the first time I actually saw a business plan. So he was obviously happy to hear that too, because he felt that strongly about it as well. And he kept coming back to, if people say, they ask about the money, he says, have you ever done the calculation? Have you ever looked at if everybody did 500? That was their mark, their benchmark, 500 points. And you built that out 6 generations in your Teach 3 to Reach 3 concept. Do you know what you would be making? Of course, he had the exact number. It was like 190 something thousand and something per month. So he knew exactly how much I'd be making. So he says, that's not a bad income. That's a pretty reasonable income. So it's true. It's true. It's just we've got to get all the pistons firing and the engine firing all at the same time and get that engine running smooth. And we've been in this transition, but we've got to get the engine out of first gear. We got to get the car out of first gear. So, and so he's kind of getting a bit antsy about that as well. And I just wanted to share the information on with you guys that he does put a huge emphasis on our role and our responsibility in creating the growth of this company. And I want to put the emphasis on the fact that it's not a large number of people who are, the question was how much money, it's over $150,000 a month. Let's just put it that way. So it's a lot of money. And I'm sure you could pay some bills with $150,000 a month. And I'm sure you could do some charitable things with $150,000 a month, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a good business plan. We have a good product line. We have a good compensation plan. We have a sound business, a legacy company. We have a logo, not a logo, a brand that is well established. I mean, we do have all the pieces. We've got that. And now it's just a matter of us taking ownership of that as an individual. You're part of a collective, which is probably the first time we've ever had this kind of a dialogue, a very transparent and very, very high level of collaboration among the stakeholders in the business. We just got to get it to the next level, which is engagement from others, taking it out to that next level. So that brings us to the conversation that you had with Bernadette last week about how would you approach the business differently if you were employed by NECAN with the end game being $100,000 paycheck at the end of the year for having achieved the request. How would you go about your day? How would you go about your process of contacting, inviting? Who would you be contacting, inviting? What mechanisms would you put in place that you haven't yet put in place now that you see your roles very clearly defined, and et cetera? So I'm seeing I got a bit of an internet connection issue, but hopefully I'll shut up now and let some of you guys answer. So that's what I want to propose to you. If you've had some thought over the week, if you had some application over the week, please share with the group right now some of your insights as a consequence of this discussion. Anyone?
Michael, I think one of the things that has really been clear to me in the last, I don't know how long, probably back in my mind for a long time, but training new people on my team, is the difference between customer invitation and consultant partner, business partner invitation. The difference between saying, I think I can help you, which is the product line, or I'm looking for help. You're one of the people that I think can really contribute to this project that we're working on, and from your contacting and inviting scripts, crafting something that gets their attention, gives them a genuine compliment, and draws them into being part of this.
So I think that's a huge one, by the way. And in the March 27 call, the Aligning with Success March 27 call, you want to put that in your favorites, add that as a favorite to your YouTube channel, because I think it's one of the best calls I've done with respect to this specific agenda. This is, how do I contact and invite people with this mentality? Thanks for that, Maggie. And has anybody else had some insights or some application this week that you can say, hey, let me give you the feedback on the effect of this?
Well, Mike, it's Randy. Let me make myself visible here. I happen to be the one that Bernadette asked that question too, and it's made a big difference this week. I just did a fair. I have a weekly fair here in Monterey, and what I noticed, it was all about posture, and I felt that I had a different posture, and I sold 3 times as much as I usually do at this market. And people were more interested. They were asking me more questions about the business. And it was really about me having the confidence that I could recruit people to change the world. And, I know that's what I want to do, but having the confidence and posture that this is why I'm here. And that's why I'm standing in front of you, because I can help you and you can help me make a difference. It was just a different feeling, and I got the kind of response that kind of feeling puts out, the attraction. So that was great.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I look forward to hearing how you parlay that in the next month or two, because I know that's a big aha for a lot of you. Anyone else?
It's Madeline.
Hi, Madeline.
Hi. On Monday of last week, I connected with a colleague in town who I didn't know owns 3 companies, where it's a national company where he deals with athletes. So I called and did the ask for help. Mm-hmm. Are you aware of what I'm doing? And he was aware, not totally aware. And so he took all the information and he said, I'm pretty busy with this. I'm chairman of the Port Authority. I have bad knees from my athletic days, so I have an appointment with him this week. He said, I'll be interested in being a customer, and I'll work on a list of referrals to you.
Wow. Okay. Let's pause on that note right there, because I want you to imagine for a second, everybody on this call, everybody on your team, and everyone you enroll from this moment forward has an endless supply of contacts. Imagine they have an endless supply of contacts. Now, how would you approach the business? How would you approach the contact and invite, which actually generates the outcomes, if there was an endless supply of names? And now this goes back to that flipping the card analogy. How fast would you flip the cards? Looking for your aces rather than trying to turn, a jack or a 3 into an ace. And so then the question becomes, how important is it to have an approach, an initial contact, an initial part of your script that engages or activates that as a fallback position? The fallback position being their help. The fallback position being, if they can't help you directly, they can help you indirectly by leading you to someone who might be at this time looking for an opportunity or in need of this technology. If you have that kernel of a seed going into the conversation, going into the initial contact invite, that's your fallback position. So the worst case scenario you get from a contact is another contact. And that means you've got an endless supply of contacts. And now it's just, how fast can I reach out to this group of people and keep following up so that I can turn over those cards, turn over those cards, turn over those cards. This then brings back the critical importance of this initial list, of adopting this as a strategy for getting your business started. In fact, this is the most important thing of all the things that we published. If you understand the information that we just talked about, it's having a list, knowing how to qualify that list, and then including in your initial script of contact and invite that kernel that says, if this is not for you, help me indirectly, lead me to someone I should be talking with, which, by the way, was my original approach with Bruce Black. So what we have here, these little pieces, are the beginning of a process that can be an ever-going cycle of contact and invite, rather than this needle in a thread, I think, approach on social media. This needle in a thread approach using very passive mechanisms that don't really lead to a relationship or a proper engagement, or for that matter, qualified contact. So it's a different approach, and this is far more accessible. More people have the ability to do the contact and invite and create a list than people who are internet savvy, who know how to use social media, who know how to do lead generation, etc. There will be those that you come across. But as a rule, which is what our business is based on, the rule of duplication, as a rule, everybody knows people. As a rule, everybody can apply this qualification process to a list. As a rule, everybody can include in their script that question of asking for help, even if it's indirect. And as a rule, they can follow that through at the end of the process with who do you know? Which, by the way, one of the masters of that is Dave Johnson. I hope he covers that on one of his calls soon. So Telephone Mastery was one of his calls years ago that I really loved. I don't know if that's available as an audio, but keep that in mind, that what we're talking about right now, and then superimpose now the posture, the concept of posture, and how that would affect how people perceive you energetically. So again, floor's open. Anyone out there? Yes, Suzanne.
I think the thing that came up when you said if they had an endless supply of contacts, then we wouldn't be concerned about hearing no.
As a matter of fact. So how important is it to include this module of training in your working with new people? And for that matter, just, experimenting yourself, because as you become a master of this concept of the list and getting to other people's lists through the list, then you have an endless supply. You do the math. There's 100 names here, And if each of these people know 100 people you don't know, that's 10,000 people. Surely you can find 3 aces in 10,000 people. I mean, surely. So that's only 2 generations. Open floor.
Well, Mike, I've been traveling, and the tools have given me confidence, and I made all kinds of contacts. I was at a Mary Morrissey conference,
Yes.
and what's really been helpful for me is to be relaxed and confident, and I'm amazed at how organic things, come up, and I'm much more at ease knowing there is a process. And I'm not saying I'm following the process exactly, because I'm developing relationships at the same time. And but I was able to go through the first process, the first part, with the Z, not the top line, but from the bottom, and
Contact and invite.
do the
The how. So you're going from the why to the how, and you're
Right.
not yet at the what.
I haven't done the business part,
Okay.
but to do the Discover Active Wellness.
Okay.
with them. And actually just really listening and really tuning into where their interests are. And it's so easy. I mean, it's just been very easy for me to talk with people. And I do think I've identified 3 people that I feel are going to be business partners. And what I love about them is they are the people on my 5, or the enthusiasm and the bright light in their eye, and they're excited. But the thing is, these are people that are attracted to me because they're looking for it.
I have a question for you, Carol. Are these people who are on your list, on your contact list?
Because, well, I mean, I have been contacting some people on my list, but these are people I just met at this conference. Yeah.
Okay. So.
And the concept of, I need your help, for a couple of them, I haven't gotten beyond that, but they were interested. I have their contact information, I identified the mission, of, this, and they have an interest that's engaging that I will follow up on.
You just said a word that struck me, so I want to address this word because I think it's an important word. There's a lot of emotion associated with this word, need. Now, if somebody called me up and said, Mike, I need your help, that feels like a drain on my energy. But if somebody called me up and said, Mike, I would love your help, that's a very different feeling on me. Or I could really use your help. Again, starting with the compliment, why they're calling me, that's why I could use your help, because you're that kind of person. So remove the need word. People love to be wanted, but they don't really like to be needed.
Did I say need?
Yeah, you did, but that's okay. I'm just saying this is a great opportunity for us to address that, because if you're using that word, if anybody's using that word, take note that word has an energy that's associated with a drain on someone versus I would love your help, I could really use your help. That has a more uplifting feel to it, and they're going to be much more prone to being interested in helping.
Okay, I do remember how I used it. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Most of us have enough needy people in our lives already.
And remember, you're what are you doing right now? Who are you? You've got your what hat on? You've got your CEO hat on. You've got your executive hat on. You've been asked by the chairman of the board to find the next president of NICAN. Could you please be more particular about how you approach this? It's not just for anybody. It's for people who have character, people who have quality, and you see that light in their eyes. You see that sparkle. There's somebody who can make a difference. There's somebody who can make an impact. This is somebody I would feel honored and proud to present to our chairman of the board.
Right.
That shift, and it really is that, by the way, because you do want to be that. You do want to be somebody who's proud to say, hey, I want to introduce you to so and so, because you see that character, you see that the horsepower within that person. It's somebody who has a lot of potential, a lot of horsepower, or maybe they're already expressing that in some other means. This is just a better way. I like what Eric Worre says. It's just a better way. We have a better way. Stanley Bogus, you're very quiet, and I want to hear your insights, young man. You always have something wise to add. Can I unmute you? Here we go. You're unmuted.
Well, what am I going to add to this? I've been sitting here listening to you, thinking about how I'm going to approach this thing. You know, I'm still on the good road to recovery from my surgery, and I had a rough day of physical therapy today. But I just want to, you know, just trying to put my mind together on how I'm going to get this going. I talked to you about theory and about launching it. Tomorrow I'm going to my networking group, first time since 6 months. And I had the flyers made up on the Advantage, the trifolds. I have to pick them up with the printer tomorrow. And I'm sitting here thinking how I'm going to approach these people tomorrow with my 2-minute or my 1-minute commercial. So any help would be appreciated.
Okay, well then you're talking about, you're talking about a commercial or you're talking about a script?
No, no. Yeah,
okay, well, you know what? Dave Johnson sort of came up with one just the other day that's kind of interesting. Have you ever heard of the word disruptive? For instance, a disruptive technology such as, you know, Uber. Uber, here comes a company that has very much disrupted the taxi business. Amazon, here's a company that has very much disrupted the retail business. They are now almost twice the size of Walmart. So disruptive technology often comes along and really makes a huge change in the way life is lived. I'm involved in a company that has introduced a disruptive approach, a disruptive technology and a disruptive approach to the subject of health. And so that's what we're doing. We're looking for people who want to be on the leading edge of a major shift in the economy of health, of how people approach their health and how they, and the kind of benefits that are associated with approaching it this way. So that could be an invitation for somebody who wants to be avant-garde, somebody who wants to be on the leading edge. And usually when you're talking about disruptive technology, you're talking about really big business. You're not talking about small business here. So you're creating an interest. And then it's in the context of this huge picture that you're then able to show and demonstrate. And then your own personal story, as an example, is quite a profound story, because that's a strong demonstration of what a disruptive technology in healthcare would look like. It's not drugs, it's not surgery, but boy, is it profound in its impact. So that might be something to try. I like that approach. And that you could also mention that you are in the throes of pulling together a small group of people who are like-minded. You know, I kind of like the idea of carrying that list in a small card, those 5 key attributes of the perfect partner, the person you're looking for. And to even just say it, you know, I carry around something in my pocket. It might sound a little weird, but there are 5 key attributes of the kind of person I would most want to be in business with. You know, having the stewardship of this incredible technology, this incredible opportunity, comes with it a great responsibility to identify people who would be appropriately aligned. And so I carry this card that has these 5 key attributes, and here, these are, if you don't mind, I would like to share them with you, and you share them out loud. And you just basically being completely transparent with people, saying, I got something good, I got something really good. It's really special. It's made a huge impact on my life, and I can tell you, I could spend the next 2 hours, I could spend the next 2 days just itemizing person after person, situation after situation. This is big, this is huge, and this deserves an audience. I'm looking for some really quality people to work with, to collaborate with, and see what we can do to make our little dent in the healthcare situation in our community, in our state. So that might be a way to go, Stanley. And then so now you're talking about it in a really big way, but then you can really itemize it by sharing your personal testimony, and then you can just bring home the bacon by doing a small weekend demonstration, a small little technology demonstration. And so that's how I would approach it. Big picture, opportunity, something to do with the product. Sort of the funnel of my dialogue is always vision, then opportunity, then product, and then the validation goes in the opposite direction. I validate the product, I validate the opportunity, and then I validate the vision.
Super. Great. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Floor is open.
Hey, it's me,
Michael,
Christine Fuller.
Okay, hold on. There's 2 people. Christine, hold that thought. Whoever was also speaking. Christine, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Christine Fuller. So, Mike, have you seen our videos?
I have seen one. I saw one. I think I liked it or commented on it. I hearted it.
I don't know. I don't know what you did, but you did something.
I think that's good. That's great. That's what you want to do. You're creating commercials. I like the contrast between the 2 of you. You're coming from 2 very different dynamics and demographics. It works really well, the blend.
Yeah, so we had a great weekend. Madeline came in, and I'm very uncomfortable just walking up to people and being like, yo, what's happening? Here's some magnets, try them out. So she came in, and I told her that. I said, that's what I'm very uncomfortable with. So she came in, and we talked. We just went to Lowe's, it's a home improvement store in Pennsylvania, and we also went to Target, which is a clothing store, and just went up to people and talked to them and got their information and gave them our information. Some of them were accepting to it. We actually had one guy actually just walk away from us. He wasn't interested in it at all. And that is what does happen. When we go out and talk to people, we have to have.
You just gave me an idea, by the way. Can I throw this at you?
Yeah.
What if you had what do you call those things? A clipboard, and you were just doing a survey. And you just hold this up to somebody, say, excuse me, can I borrow you for like 15 seconds of your life? I'm doing a quick survey. We're taking a note of which of the top two things jump out at you. Of these, what we call the 5 pillars of health, which 2 strike you the most? Which 2 words jump out at you the most? So you could kind of do a little thing like that, and they might say body and finances. Could I ask you a second? Would you mind if I ask you why? And then you just, wow, okay. Hey, listen, I don't know if this is a good time. Probably not for you, but do you mind if we exchange information? Because I think I might have something for you. That could be something.
That's really nice.
Cool. Sorry, I interrupted. Anything else?
Christine?
Go
ahead.
Whoever.
No, that was me. Please share more. We had lots of wonderful experiences, and she was a good mentor to me also. Very good feedback back and forth.
Good.
I love that. Thanks, Mike.
Pardon me?
I loved that. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. There was somebody, yes.
I had something just that might help. It's an old network marketing thing I heard a long time ago that helps so that we keep fresh and keep alive and don't get discouraged and keep turning over the cards. It's SWSWSWN. You know that one, right?
Yes, of course.
And I think that just keeps us looking for.
Well, wait, not everybody knows it, so finish that.
So it's some will, some won't. So what? Next. And I think that keeps us keep on looking for that ace. And thank you. I think that probably a lot of us really have a desire so much for other people that we keep wanting to make jacks into aces.
Yeah, that's a great point. I want to just jump on that, if I may. Because of the nature of Nikken people, particularly Nikken people, who we are, especially those of us on this call, we have a tendency to be Mother Teresa's. We just love everybody. We want everybody to feel better. We want everybody to know what we know. We want everybody to have what we have, etc. But what's being called upon, and by the way, that's fine, and that's the hat that you wear, that's your social services hat, okay?
Right.
You know, let's just call that your social services hat, which could be maybe your product-oriented hat. But there's a time and a place for you to wear the CEO hat.
Right.
And I'll tell you why that's really important. Because if your company is not profitable, you will not have a company. And so I tell people Nikken is not my charity, but it enables me to be charitable. So the business of Nikken, my business, if I couldn't afford to get on airplanes like I'm doing tomorrow morning and flying to Chicago, if I couldn't afford to do that, I couldn't do that. So if my business is not profitable, then I won't be able to do the things that I want to do with my business. I won't be able to afford that. So it's really important that we wear our CEO hat as often as possible. And so that metaphor of, let's say you are contacted by Kurt Foley, the chairman of the board and CEO, and he says to you, look, I need a VP in your jurisdiction. In fact, I need 3 to cover the bases. I can't do it myself. I would do it if I had the time. I don't have the time. I'm willing to pay somebody to do it. I'm asking you. You're in my first call. You're the person I'm asking. What's in it for you? Find me these people. There's $100,000 waiting for you. Now, here's the funny thing about that, by the way. If you had found those 3 people for Kurt by the end of this year, how much money do you think you will have earned finding them? Okay, number 1. How much will you have earned just looking for them? Number 1. Number 2, if you have found those 3 people, how much do you think you will earn in 2018? Now, he would have given you $100,000, and that would have been it. But by doing the work as if he's going to give you $100,000, I can assure you, you will have earned more, considerably more, at the conclusion of 2018. Not only the money that you will have earned finding these people, turning over those stones, generating those sales, sponsoring distributors, etc. You'll be building an income, but you will also, having found those people, now be, in the rocket ship to Royal Diamond, and that's an annual income considerably higher. So why sell yourself short? Why do the work as if you're going to get paid $100,000 when you're going to get paid a heck of a lot more? But do the work. Do it as if you have been contracted. Act as if that's your role, that's your responsibility. Posture, as Randy was talking about, is critical to how we attract, because posture is an energy, it's a vibration. People will perceive you in a certain manner, in a certain way, based on your vibration. So find those 3 people.
Michael, go ahead. Sorry.
I think, Yoko, you had your hand up.
I was just going to say, Mike, that Bernadette allowed me to regrade a lot of people because people change. And so my priority list changed. And when I did see this one person last week, the why just came out. So I didn't even have to search for it. So it's interesting how because of being with the company so long, a lot of times your whole priority list has to be like redone. You have to redo yourself so many times. So that was really helpful for me to listen to Bernadette.
Let me tell you something, you guys. I think just in the last couple conversations, the one with Bernadette, this one, maybe add the March 27 as a tool or technique. But those skills, by you going through this process and putting it to work, like just absolutely apply it and see how it works. See how you're able to generate referrals because of this approach, because you've added that kernel at the beginning, added that level of professionalism and that posture. What you guys are going to be in NECAN and what you guys are going to be in network marketing are the most professional people there are. You will absolutely be the epitome of what professionalism looks like, feels like, acts like.
But professionals with results, though, Mike.
Clearly profitable results, because that's what it takes to be a professional. You have to be able to afford to be that. And so, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Michael,
yes, Lori. I'm sorry, Madeline. Let me.
Yep.
I just want to say that this is very encouraging, because I have yet to meet someone who knows what NECAN is in my area. And I have gone all over my area. I travel a lot where I live, and sometimes I'm discouraged, but every time I come on a call, I talk with my sister or my aunt or Madeline, I talked with her last week, I am so encouraged because I'm just starting out. And so I have to remember to be positive, because I am going to put NECAN on the map here and in my area. And just that kernel of knowing I am the CEO, because there isn't anyone else out there. There just isn't. And so that's me. So I really appreciate that, because that is really going to change my whole mindset as I move forward.
Fantastic. Wow. There it is. Underscore exclamation mark. Sorry, Madeline, I kept jumping in the middle of that. So let's finish up on that.
I just want to edify Christine. And it was 2 weeks in a row. We did 3 in-homes, 3 cities, an overnight, and in between were the debriefings. So she completed that list. So she has the first page of the list, and I just had to give one instruction of what those letters meant, and she did all of the rating while we were getting ready for the video. Today's video was the assertion and the posturing of opening up Pennsylvania stand, so you'll have the structure in place to plug your big 3 in, and did it with such excitement. And I think you could see the difference in her posture tonight. And the other thing that happened today, Patty Patterson is another person in another unit. I don't even know where from, but she's been coming to events for years. She drove there, has a daughter that lives close to Christine, and the bonding, that's what's in the video that went out on Facebook for Launch Partners today. So now we have 2 mother, father, daughters teams, and they're working cross line. They went out, scheduled the next event. They're going to be splitting the fee for the center. And so there's more activity, and to go back to having the big events at the Marriott, which was across the street where we used to have 150, 200 people when Dr. Naidu came. So all of that. And then what did we do right? Could we have done differently? So that continuous quality improvement and helping one another, pulling me back when I was saying too much, and observing the vibes. And did you pick up on that, Madeline? Did you see the vibes? That's what we need to. And then her coming out, and it has just been so wonderful.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Madeline. Thank you. And I cut you off. Yeah, I want to ask you let's finish off on your question, Ann. Go ahead.
My question was, you said that you were looking for some really dynamic people, and you had 5 qualities. Was that just you speaking generically, or do you really have 5?
Well, there's mine, but I'm asking you to have yours. What are the things that you would itemize? Oh. So give some time to this list, because you might just throw some things on a page and then qualify it. Say, okay, if it was just 5 and not 6 and not 7. Just 5, you have to pick the 5 that means the most to you. So the more time and attention you give to this, the more meaning you give to this, when you pull that card out, when you touch that card in your pocket or your purse, then what you're doing is you're triggering a vibration within yourself. Because now you're saying, this is who I really am looking for. This is what excites me. This is the kind of person that would excite me. So when you see that quality in somebody else, you're going to get excited. When you see that quality in somebody else as you're going about your life, you're going to get very excited. Your vibration is going to go really high. So the second you approach that person on that frequency, you're going to speak to them before you say a word. And that's why it's important, a little exercise that's worth having. All right, guys, great call. I'm so impressed. Great feedback. Thanks for all your involvement, your inclusion, your information, etc., your questions.
Could I just say something quickly before we close?
Okay.
This is Kramer. There is in Edison, New Jersey, on Thursday of this week, a J-Biz Expo. It's an expo of Jewish businesses from all over the country, all over the world, actually. And I'm registered to go there. And I cannot tell you how important this call and last week's call have been in encouraging me and giving me exactly the encouragement that I needed when I needed, the timing couldn't have been better. I needed this so much. Excuse me for using that word need, but I did. And it was amazing. Thank you all so much.
Awesome. Well, that's wonderful feedback. Hey, bang it out of the ballpark. Have a good one.
And thank you.
Okay, everybody. You guys have a great evening, a great week, and we'll see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.